Yo, what is up, y'all? This is DPS Podcast, episode number 12. And we're gonna have a fire show for you guys. I know it's a little off, a little different that we're doing this on a Tuesday night, but Thursday's night's Thanksgiving. We ain't really trying to have you guys trying to listen to us and eat dinner or watch football, watch your favorite football team get destroyed, whatever. We just want to let you enjoy your holiday because we're gonna enjoy our holiday, and might as well just go ahead and do it tonight. So let's go ahead and get it started. What's up, my co-host, Gaming Forte? How you doing, man?
What up, though? How you been, man? Your boy is finally ready to get back into the whole swing of making content on the channel, back to talking about the things that most people really truly care about, because we all know they don't really care about me talking about Destiny. Only the people on my channel really care about that. But over here we got to keep it kosher. We got to talk about Genshin Impact, we got to talk about the Division, and we got to talk about all the stuff that most people in this world really don't truly care about. But shout out to you.
So talking about Destiny is something that people care about. That's interesting.
I'm not saying that everybody cares about it.
Well, nope, only Destiny people, and ain't too many of y'all out here. So we gonna keep it.
That's kind of a lot of people though. Somehow.
Not really. You guys got like a consistent 3 million. That's great. No,
damn, but that's being generous right there. 3 million.
Yeah, I'm being very generous.
You're being real generous right now.
Yeah, but there are way more gamers than that. So
absolutely, like Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Huh?
Like Spider-Man Miles Morales. That's another game. It's a whole bunch of games out here, man.
I said there's way more gamers out there.
Oh, yeah.
That don't care about
I thought you
Destiny.
said a lot more games out here to play. Oh, well, both of those questions, both of those scenarios would have been right.
Anyway, moving on. Well, what have you been doing the past week, man?
Pretty much what I was just talking about. I was pretty much sheltered the entire week because of the day one Destiny raid that I was doing. So that's why you really haven't seen me posting on Twitter. That's why y'all really ain't seen no videos out of me in the last 2 to 3 weeks, because I've been, ever since the 10th, between working and grinding, getting ready for that on Saturday, I pretty much have been dedicating myself to that. I did play, like I said, I started Spider-Man. I did start the remaster, which is actually incredible. I'm glad I waited to play it on PS5 instead of playing it on PS4. Then hanging out with my daughter. She platinum Astro's Playroom, and she platinum Spider-Man Miles Morales. Watching her do that was kind of enjoyable. So I pretty much just been taking it all in, and I'm at the point now where I'm just really starting to dive into a bunch of just different stuff that I haven't played. I got Demon Souls for the PlayStation. I expect to start playing that and stuff. So it just really comes down to just finding time to start playing all this stuff, with work and all.
I feel you. Yeah, I've been let's see here. I've been playing Rogue Company, of course. I have been playing. I actually play a little bit of Apex Legends. I got a couple of friends that play Apex Legends, and I'm not really into Apex like that. But I downloaded it on PC, started playing with them. It's got crossplay now, so it really don't matter which platform you play it on. Got absolutely destroyed in every match, which is to be expected when you don't really play a game, but then you just run into everyone that's sweaty. But it was fun. It was good fun. We quickly switched to Rogue Company as soon as possible, so I could get my frustration of getting murked and Apex out and just start slaughtering people in Rogue. So that was a good time. I also been playing. I'm trying to finish Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I'm really pretty game.
It is a pretty game,
but definitely the weakest of the Tomb Raider reboot trilogy. Definitely the weakest. It's so heavy on story.
Yeah.
But the story isn't good. It's the worst story. So it's like, I'm not feeling like I think I'm close to the end, and I'm just like, yo, just get this over with so I can uninstall and get up out of here. Also, I know far less action than the previous games. I'm just like, what is like what I just finished the part where you're in the tomb where it's like these weirdo people with claws and they don't talk and they got like all kinds of stuff in their face and they killed like an entire army before you got there, but for some reason they're afraid of Laura. Don't know why. And I mean, it's like it's so many tombs like that where you don't get to like fight a lot of enemies. Like I got excited whenever I would have like I'll get into an area and I'm like slowly dispatching all the soldiers and stuff. Like Rise of the Tomb Raider had all that action in there. Decent story, a lot of action. Definitely improved on the combat from the first game. First game had the best story and decent action. This one is just like a miss on every level. It's not terrible,
right?
It's just not. It doesn't match up to the previous games. Man, and maybe that's with the switch to Montreal Eidos and all that, and not Crystal Dynamics that really did it. But regardless, other thing I've been doing is playing Godfall, which is one of the topics tonight. And we see Gregor Von Doom. What's up in the chat? Shout out to a couple of people. Shout out to Gregor, Calorex, Doxaya, and Gregor says, imagine having Godfall as a topic, but not the new Destiny content rate. Well, you know what? The words new and Destiny have not been relevant in like 3 years. So there's nothing new about Destiny.
We do need to talk about the Destiny.
We can discuss it, but there's actually a new game that came out. Imagine that. Imagine playing new games, Gregor. Yeah, there's a new game that came out, and that's what we're going to discuss. So like Godfall, I've been playing.
That's not a new game.
How was Godfall not a new game?
It came out 3 weeks ago, so it's not new.
It came out 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
Okay, 2 weeks ago. It still ain't new.
And it's newer than Destiny.
Newer is a.
It's a new game. What are you talking about? When does a game become old?
No, you didn't say new. You said no. You said new game. You ain't say newer. You said
the
new
game is less than a month old, and you're already calling it old. How is it not new?
Don't nobody want to play that. Not right now.
How is it not new?
Because it's not newer. It's newer, not new.
Okay, when does the game become old? After a day?
Like right now, Hyrule Warriors is new because it just came out.
Cali Rex. It's a new game.
Okay, whatever. Every game that comes out is new. Until it comes old.
Okay, yeah, but like 2 weeks isn't old. Okay, a week is old. Anyway,
after a week is old.
Been playing.
I'm just playing semantics here. I really don't care.
I know. You're really doing a terrible job at it as well, but it's okay.
Just because you say that.
Hashtag Bugsnax. Here y'all go. Yo, slow mo Bugsnax. When you're going to play Bugsnax, the true game of the year. Look, y'all already know what this is. I hit 1,000 subs. I'll play Bugsnax.
He hit 2,000 subs with platinum.
Y'all gotta stop repeating that. Like it's not exactly like that. If I hit 2,000 by July,
no.
Yes, by July.
No, you can't be changing the rules of engagement.
I said the rules. What is this war? What are you talking about? The rules.
You can't be changing the rules of
engagement.
You can't be changing the rules of engagement, man.
Who we going to war with?
What are you
talking about?
You going to war with Bugsnax because that's going to be a war in itself. Watching you play it.
It's too early for this. We already started.
Actually, it's 9 o'clock at night, sir. These people waited all night.
I said it's too early for us to be. It's not even 10 minutes in, and we arguing like this. Look.
Well, there ain't nothing new. That's what they come here for, man.
Look, anyway, what I was saying is we discussed this back when you tried to shoehorn me to do.
That wasn't even
platinum at 2K, right? I said I made the amendment that said by July.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, that was not even a thing. I'm gonna pull these receipts.
Pull it up.
You literally said
not now because we're doing the show, but later on, pull the receipts.
I'm about to. Man, let me go find this.
Yeah,
it had to be like what 4 episodes ago, 3 episodes ago. Okay, because you said exactly. You said. Oh, 2K? Oh, I'll definitely say, 2K. I'll
First
definitely
of all,
platinum.
there was no way I had all that enthusiasm for platinuming Bugsnax.
No, you definitely didn't.
You was a liar.
You was. Oh no. Now you calling me Trump? I'm Trump now. I'm a liar.
Yeah. Forte Trump out here.
Oh shit.
Let me look at this trophy list real quick for Bugsnax because y'all got me all the way messed up right now. Oh, okay, that ain't bad. 15 hours, 3 out of 10 trophy difficulty. There's 28 trophies.
Yeah, it's not that hard, man. You can make it happen.
But what is the obtain? Okay, yeah, complete the main story. Pretty easy. Could catch 100 unique species.
That's not. That's like playing Pokemon there.
Nah, fam. I ain't catching them all. I don't like Pokemon.
Man, it's 28 species. You act like it's 100.
I don't even like Pokemon. And I like Pokemon more than this trash game. Complete all the side quests. Fully transform every Grumpus. What is a Grumpus?
You'll find out when you play the game.
Defeat all the legendary Bugsnax. That sounds like something that's like I don't feel like doing.
I'm with you, bro. Just do it.
All of the Grumpsies survive. Wait a minute. Didn't it say I had to defeat the Grumpsies? What?
Yeah, you gotta do 2 playthroughs.
Hell no.
Make it happen, bro. No, you already committed now.
I am not
you
committed.
Ain't read the 5 print. You ain't read the 5 print.
By July.
No, it ain't no by July, bro.
It's by July. Look, it's by July because I said it's by July.
No, it ain't no by July, bro. You do realize you're going to lose all your goddamn support if you renege on this content.
I'm not. First of all, my community is not here just to see me play trash bucks. They are not here. No, listen,
they are here to support you with a.
I'm not reneging. But
they are here to watch you play.
It's by July. That's it.
They are here to support you, but they are also here for the torture that's going to ensue of you playing Bugsnax. So if you renege on that, you're giving them half of the reason not to be here. So you have to do it.
You know what?
They're just slow. Just live up to it, man. I'll play it with you. I'll play it the same. We'll stream it together. I ain't got no problem with doing that. I don't hate Bugsnax like you do.
You know what? It's okay because we already made the agreement, and that's the agreement I'm gonna go by, which is by July. So moving on.
I didn't make that agreement. You can't be changing that. You changing the look at you.
Godfall. So Godfall.
Be ready to look at your Twitter post in the next couple of days. At least the next day, I'm going to post exactly what this conversation was like a couple of months ago when we said 2,000 and a platinum. Oh my god! And that's what we're going off of.
Look, can you get back on topic?
I'm just saying. So if I pull these receipts and these receipts don't say what you just said, and they say you good with that, we gonna do it there, right?
There's a topic.
Just answer the question. You can go on with the topic as soon as you ask.
Look, if the receipts say what you say, sure. But I know. But
so what are you saying that the receipts say? What are the receipts going to say?
That I said by July.
So those receipts are going to say you said by July.
Yeah, and don't be trying to edit it to kind of make it seem like don't try to Fox News it or something. All right, don't try to edit it up to make it.
You're not a Republican, so I don't have to do that.
Yeah, look, that's not what I meant. We're moving on. So Godfall came out, right? The new looter that's on the market. Got it on PC. Because, of course, I don't have a PlayStation at the moment to play it on PlayStation. Thanks a lot, Coles. Thanks a lot, Scalpers. Thanks a lot, bots. But the game is... All right, let me go through it in a couple of different ways. So the first thing I'm going to say is that this is the buggiest game I've played in the year 2020. The buggiest. I had so many issues with this game. It's ridiculous. Like, I just doing the tutorial prologue mission, the game crashed 3 times. Turned out it was a bug with playing in full screen. Like, how in 2020 do you not like test your game where it's playable in full screen on PC? Like, every game is playable in full screen on PC. That's ridiculous. Like, that's ridiculous. It's crazy. So I had to go into windowed full screen in order to make it work. They have gone ahead and fixed those issues. They actually dropped another patch earlier today that I haven't had a chance to try out yet, but definitely buggiest game there is this year. Let's see. The combat's actually not that bad. Now, I did initially when I first saw Godfall, I was like, yo, this is way too repetitive. I'm seeing the same moves over and over and over again. But then once you play the game and actually find out what the combat's really about, it's very different than other looters. And if you feel in the combat, I can see this being a game that someone could play after, the game, they finish the campaign in game. I can see someone continuing to play it because there's different builds that you can develop. You got different, I forgot what they call them, vapor plates, war plates, whatever. They're different armors that they have. That's where I think people kind of get it kind of like saying they're trying to be like Warframe with the Warframes, the different Warframes. But the Warframes in Warframe all are like very, very unique and different, whereas the plates and Godfall aren't all that very, they're different, but not super different from one another. But the combat's very much about timing. Having the right timing in your attacks can really allow you to just basically destroy everybody that comes in your way. Not getting the timing down you can have a really, really hard time. So the combat, I enjoy it. It's pretty cool. But longevity, I don't think this game is going to last. The bugs are a problem. The story's okay. It's coherent. You understand what's going on, but that's not why people play these kind of games.
Right.
The environments are extremely, extremely limited. So there's 3 different realms. There's earth, water, and air. And in each realm, you go around these different locations in that realm, but they're all really the same location. So there's really only just 3 maps is what it really is. They all look exactly the same, except that the water realm will have like coral walls and coral floors and stuff like that. And the air realm will have platforms and bridges, and the earth realm will have a lot of trees. It's literally the same kind of maps, just little differences sprinkled around. And this is kind of goes into why I feel like this game could have had potential, but the publisher is the problem. And I know that, like, I know some people are like, yo, how's this Gearbox's issue? And Gearbox is only publishing the game. This is Gearbox's issue because I kind of feel like Counterplay Games did not have either the budget or the resources to really make this game what they wanted it to be. When you see the way they kind of cut corners here and there in order to get the game ready, and it's still not ready, came in hot, buggy as all get out, like that shouldn't happen. A publisher should be making sure that the games that they publish and that their developers they're working with that are developing are coming out in their best light. And Godfall is not that. It's not coming out in its best light. The game really need to be delayed until sometime around like where Outriders is coming out. Outriders, another looter that I think one looks better than Godfall. I'm more interested in that one than Godfall. I don't know about you, but Outriders got delayed, and I'm glad. Anytime I see a delay for a game, not too many delays, hello Cyberpunk, but anytime I see a delay, I'm like, cool. At least I know that when the game does come out, it's going to be in a better state than it was going to be in if it would have stayed at the release date that it had before. And so Godfall needed to be delayed. There's just no way around it. And it's unfortunate because I feel like this game isn't going to last. I really feel like we're going to be talking about Godfall in the same way that we talk about Marvel's Avengers by January. What about you, man?
Same reason why I didn't buy that game on PS5. I called Cognito on the phone. I was like, bro, you getting Godfall? He's like, that's my Destiny brother. So we all about that looter life. And I was like, "So we getting Godfall, bro?" And he was like, "Yeah, oh man, it's looking real spooky out here."
It sound real
He's like,
depressed with it.
yeah, he's like, it looks real
man.
spooky. Yeah, man, it's real spooky. The game, we find out that it's only got a 6-month exclusivity window. He's like, I'm hoping that Uncle Phil put that thing in Game Pass, so I ain't even gotta even bother with it. So as soon as that happened, shout out to the Iron Lords. As soon as that happened, I was like, yo, screw that game, bro. I'm just gonna wait on it, because that was gonna be my day one purchase with my PS5 outside of Spider-Man and Demon Souls. But as time went on, I started looking at impressions on the game, and even knowing some of the gameplay looked really interesting. And I was like, okay, I like the last reveal they did on the gameplay. But then I started seeing combos, and it seemed like a lot of the stuff was mirroring each other. And I was like, so is this game got any depth really to it when it comes to the combat situations? And I know it does, but is it enough to satisfy me enough to want to jump into that game and say, yo, I want to play this game long term? Is it something that I can see myself coming to? It's not this isn't a game that you just pick up and pay. And I think the $70 price tag for me did it too. I was
I feel that.
Yeah, I was like, me telling you, it sounds sacrilegious, but saying dude, paying $70 for a game, but you pay what, $200 and something for your Destiny experience. But at least I know I'm gonna get my $200 worth out of Destiny, because I know I'm gonna play it a lot, because I know what Destiny has to offer. I know I'm gonna hate parts of it, but I know overall I'm gonna play it enough to say that, yo, I paid $200 for my Destiny experience over the last 2 years, and it was worth it, because I don't feel like I was cheated. Now, this game I'm looking at, I'm like, yo, $70 for the bare bones that they're giving us. I'm like, the game's going to probably be better by the time it comes to other platforms, because that seems to kind of how it always happens with games like this. As time goes on, you get better. They get better tool sets. They get better at basically just building out the world. And normally the people that waited are the people that get the best bang for their buck, because that even happens in Destiny now. If you're a person that jumped into Destiny in the last 6 to 7 months, you have so much content to deal with that is kind of overwhelming. Whereas people that's been playing, forever, they're like, yo, when's the next thing? That's kind of what you be talking about with us, so like y'all always complaining, but we always try to come at it from a point that we play so much, we're kind of the abnormal player. And being a person that is an abnormal player, looking at something like Godfall just troubles me.
Okay, so you're thinking there's not enough content to keep you invested after you finish the game.
Yeah, not me, the person that will play the game as much, because I can only compare it to what I play now, and I'm comparing it to Destiny. I mean, even Division had that type of hold on me.
Well, Division 2 actually had, Division 1 in game was non-existent, but Division 2 actually had a very extensive in game already built in at launch. So as soon as you hit max level and beat the game, you had to be max level to even do the final mission. Yeah, but you had those world tiers all the way up to world tier 4, I think, at launch. Then they added world tier 5 later on. But that was like an additional, just the if you did it legit and you did get power level, that was a additional like 10 to 15 hours of content right there. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I'm not in game with Godfall yet, so I can't say for certain that there ain't nothing to do at the end. I'm getting close to the end. I've seen all the different realms, and I'm at near the end part of the story. So I still, at this point, because I enjoy the combat enough, I'm still interested in playing it afterwards. But I don't know how long I'll be interested in playing it after I do that. But before we continue on, let me shout out some people in the chat. I want to shout out the Wolf Flow. What's up, man? We got the Sly Crow. What's going on? Racer, what's up? We got who else we got? We got Clifton, the Color Milkman.
Oh, we got Clifton up in the building.
Yeah, AC. We got that guy Smitty. He says it's real easy. I'm talking about Bugsnax. Moving on, Smitty, moving on. Damien was good, man. Stamp King said he caught the show live, got to work. My second day off at work, USPS, getting that $62 an hour tonight. Wow. Hey, man, make that money.
Make that money,
this will
man.
make your first 2 hours more enjoyable. Appreciate that, man. Hey, since you work at USPS, I got two things coming in the mail, okay? All right, I got a GPU, a replacement GPU. I bought a 1060 to put into my PC as I'm getting my 2070 Super RMA. Could you please make sure your homies don't steal my ish? I'd be great. We really appreciate that. Also, I don't even know if it's coming yet or not. We're going to talk about this in a minute. My PS5 might be coming. I would really appreciate nobody put like a Nerf gun in my box and take my PS5 home. Really love that. What else we got here? We got Taz. What's up, Taz? And
what's up, Taz?
Dirt Griggity in the house. What's up, bro? Yeah. So my PS5. Let me give you guys an update on that. So as y'all know, I've been kind of struggling to find the PlayStation 5. Finally, on Sunday night, I'm up. And I'm following. I'm like dead tired. I'm refreshing PS Direct over and over again. I'm refreshing all these retailers' web links for PlayStation 5. And then one of these Twitter accounts I've been following that's been spamming my Twitter notifications, and I couldn't stand it. Finally said, "Hey, this is a little weird, but Kohl's is going to have the PlayStation 5 at 1 a.m." And I was like, Kohl's, really? Yep, I mean, why not have the Dollar General put up PlayStation 5s? It's freaking Kohl's. Okay, yep. So I'm like, you know what? Why not? Let me go. And I was up. I was playing games, of course. So I'm up late. I'm like, why not? So I looked at the time. It was like 12:58. I'm like, oh, it's almost time for that Kohl's thing to go live. So I said, why not put it? I pulled it up on my phone while I'm playing the game. Pulled it up. Next thing I know, I'm like, wait a minute. The website's not slammed. I can add the cart? What the? Hold up. I can buy this bundle? And so I'm like, now I'm freaking out. I'm rushing. You know, I'm like, okay, hold on. Let me get this done. The bundle was like 630. It's like 630. It was the PS5, the main one with the disc drive, additional DualSense controller. I don't mind that too much. I could use that on my PC if I wanted, and Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition. So I'm like, bet that's the game. One of the first games I wanted to play anyway. Let me go ahead and get this. So I got it. I checked out by 107. I was excited. I'm like, let me calm down because I see people get cancellations all the time. I ain't seen no cancellations. Everything was great. I hit up some people that I knew were still looking. Was like, yo, Kohl's got it. Get up in there. It's still live for some reason. I don't get it, but okay. It turned out that was a problem. That was a big problem. Caliber says, LOL, fun fact, people who were able to get full refunds got Kohl credit. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that too. Only available to spend in Kohl's.
They got that Kohl's cash.
That Kohl's cash. I'm telling you,
my wife loves that Kohl's cash.
Whoever came up with that idea, they looking for a new job today. I'm telling you, like, look, the way. So turned out Kohl's didn't really have the inventory that it looked like they had. People were still ordering from Kohl's after an hour. That's when I still see people saying, I got one. I was like, this ain't good. Because bigger retailers like Best Buy, Walmart, Target, they sell out in seconds.
Right.
But you still got inventory? Like Kohl's? Really?
Yeah.
Something's not right here. And I was right. 90%, over 90% of the orders that came in on Kohl's got canceled. And I'm just sitting here like, man, I went to bed all content and happy and missed the actual Best Buy release. Where Best Buy, we're going to talk about later, because we're going to discuss some things later about some things from the Phil Spencer interview that kind of gets into this stuff. But Best Buy basically was able to eliminate any bots taking inventory from actual gamers. And I would have much preferred rolling with Best Buy. I got a account with them. I always get a lot of stuff there. I know I can do in-store pickup, so I ain't got to worry about FedEx stealing my stuff. Great, perfect. But no, I went to bed, woke up, found out Best Buy. I was like, hey, I miss Best Buy, but I got my codes. Shout out to Coles, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. I'm sitting here now. I'm like, yo, I'm getting nervous because people just like cancel. I'm like, what's happening here? And long story short, actually not short because I've been talking for a minute. I still don't know the status of my order. But I've realized, still don't know. It's about to be Wednesday. Still don't know the status of my order. This was Sunday night. I called them. Shout out to OBJ the Don, who told me, hey man, you need to call, man. You need to call up there. I mean, let me do the OBJ voice. Yeah, man, you need to call up there, man. You need to call up there, man. figure it out, right? And I called, and they told me they couldn't tell me any more information. My order is in fulfillment, which means that they are in the process of securing the item and then shipping it to whichever carrier that they use. Probably the worst carrier right now that's stealing everybody's stuff, FedEx probably, but it is what it is. But I'm still in that stage. Everyone, it seems like, who ordered after me got canceled. Everyone who ordered before me got shipping notifications and doing the happy dance. I'm sitting over here in limbo, like, yo, can I get some information here? Because I feel like what's going to end up happening is by the time they get around to either canceling my order or sending it, all the other retailers are going to go live with their Black Friday stuff.
And
I'm going to be sitting over here like, do I want to try to secure another one and end up having two that I don't need, with an extra one I don't need?
Oh man, go ahead and get that second one, bro.
I might. That might end up being a move just because Cole's really not giving me no information, and this stuff should have been sent off, right? The way things are going, I'm gonna get that 1060 I purchased last night before I get this PS5.
You probably will.
Yeah. So that's my long story about my drama with the PlayStation. I could write a book about this. I tell you, it's crazy, but I mean, we'll see what happens. Regardless, I'm just kind of hoping I'm not talking about this.
He's been calling me
week.
every time he calls me. He has this like sobs like voice, and I'm like, dog, tell me your PlayStation. Please tell me your PlayStation to get canceled. He said, no, my PlayStation. I said, I wish you just damn confirm it.
At this point, I just want to know something. Are you gonna cancel it? Cancel it already, man. Just let me know what I need to do going forward. Cancel it, and I will move on, and I'll never shop at Kohl's again. But that Kohl's cash. So here's the other part.
How much did they give you?
They gave me $180.
Ooh, that's a lot.
There's people out here who got like over $1,000 in Kohl's cash because they ordered multiple PlayStation 5s, and that orders got canceled.
So would they give you dollar for dollar?
Yeah.
So like if you spent $500.
No. It's not dollar for dollar. I don't know.
It's not dollar for dollar.
I don't know what the trade off is. I don't know. I didn't do the math on it, but I just know that one of their PlayStation 5 bundles equaled 180 Kohl's cash.
Because all it is literally that's like money off, $180 off.
Gregor says, Slomo, if you end up with a second one, it was recently my birthday. I don't know about that, man. I'll get you a nice card. It'll have a PS5 in it.
Oh, man, DPS podcast. If we get extras, everybody gonna eat, man. Slomo we're gonna give it away.
How are you going to give away something I purchased with we're gonna talk about this later.
Because you're a nice person.
I am.
You see,
my niceness has limits. Though.
No, remember when you said you're the most liked person on Scumcast, and I was like,
well,
no, you're not. But then again, you kept saying you were.
Disagree with that. I am. I know
Okay, and
people
this is
disagree with
you.
that.
This is your chance to prove that.
No, it's not.
It is. It's literally your chance to prove it right here.
You know what? You know this. We wouldn't even be in a situation if you didn't just put a PS5 aside for me. You know that, right?
I couldn't.
Whatever.
When Sony only sent I don't know if Sony did it, but when GameStop only sent 2 per store, it's kind of hard to do that.
No, I'm talking about before then. I'm talking about at launch. You know,
well, sir, you should have made it known that you wanted one at that point instead of making these different assumptions like, oh, maybe I do, maybe I don't, and Spider-Man is only available on PlayStation. And I can play it on my PlayStation, then I can change my mind and I want to play it on PlayStation. I'm not playing on PlayStation. Yes, you did.
I never said I was not going to get it. I said people can look at that and say, "Why get a PS5 if I can play it on my PlayStation?"
But
I didn't say that. You
said I don't know. You said I don't know if I want one.
You know, I never said that. I always say, "Well, look, we gonna keep moving."
There's people out here that can back that up.
There's people out here that don't know what they talk about. We're gonna keep it moving.
Are you trying to say Brap doesn't know what he's talking about?
We are going to keep it moving. So,
are you trying to say our second employer doesn't know what he's talking about?
My what?
Your second employer?
I don't get paid to be on Brap.
Kind of.
You get paid to be on Brap?
In exposure, yeah.
Yeah, that's so you don't get paid, is what you're saying. So look, Fortnite is bringing back subscription services for individual games. They just came out with a subscription service for their game. Epic came out with a subscription service for Fortnite. I believe it's $12.
$12 a month.
$12 a month. Let me pull it up to see exactly what you get for.
Yeah, who out here want to be a part of the Fortnite crew?
Yeah, not this community, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's some people out there that's gonna get that.
But look, this is the thing is that all right, so we all remember back in the day, right, when you would play like Elder Scrolls Online, I think did it, but before then, World of Warcraft had your sub service, Phantasy Star Online had a sub service, and you had to have the subscription to even play the game. Like it wouldn't, you didn't get anything extra. It was just, this is access to the game. Thank you for your money.
True.
Fortnite's a free game. So they couldn't take it from it's a free game to now you gotta pay us on a monthly basis, because that's where it's that illusion of free that really gets people in, because it doesn't cost you anything to try it, but to really get the full enjoyment out of the game, you will be spending a whole lot of money, which is why Fortnite makes the most money out of any game in the entire world.
Agreed.
Callie Rex wants to know if we're going to talk about Comcast news for the data capping. Hey, we're going to do a whole Q&A at the end of the show, Callie. So, yeah, we could definitely get into that. So, Fortnite, this thing is called Fortnite Crew. And it gives you all kinds of extra cosmetics a month. And it's $12 a month. And what is it usually costs? Battle Pass usually is about $9 to $10. You get like 1,000 V-Bucks a month, which is like $10 in value, yada, yada, yada. All the kids, I think, are going to jump on this stuff. And so what my question is to you, Forte, is do you think, because Fortnite seems to be a pioneer, and as far as it comes to game services and what they do seems to be able to influence the rest of the industry based off of how big it is. When Sony didn't want to do crossplay, Epic was like, yeah, but we want crossplay. And then eventually Sony had to bend the knee, do crossplay. So I think, do you wonder if them doing something like this will influence other live service or games as a service games to go this route as well?
I mean, it's definitely possible. I do think Fortnite does have the cachet that people may not realize, that this is definitely going to be something that's going to permeate throughout the game industry when it comes to especially certain games that can actually get away with it. Fortnite just happens to be one of the big ones, but there's other games that you can literally say, yeah, I can really see Call of Duty doing something like this with their Warzone.
With Warzone?
Yeah, with Warzone. I can see it easily being something they can do. The fact
but
that
what would they offer you?
I mean, they got a battle pass just like Fortnite
Yeah,
does.
but I mean, but like Fortnite has like different skins that completely change the way your character looks, and
who's to say that Call of Duty doesn't have something like that in the works where they can? I mean, they do have skins that, like, they gave you a pre-order bonus for Woods when you pre-ordered Cold War that worked in Warzone. So it's definitely something that can happen because they have shown the capacity of actually, you know, having stuff to just give to Warzone people only. So if another game would do it, I could see Call of Duty being the next game to do it. It really just comes down to the business model itself, because a lot of people think that subscription services, when it comes to games themselves, are kind of a dead prodigy, but I beg to differ, because I think when it comes to what Epic is doing here, they're looking at it like, yo, we have.
Real quick, Gregor said that Warzone does have character skins. They added Ripley from Aliens.
Oh yeah,
that Ripley?
Did? Oh shit, I didn't even know that. Yeah, see, it's only a matter of time.
Cool. That's a smart idea, actually. Ripley is pretty cool from Aliens. Yeah, that's not. Maybe they could do that. Yeah, but yeah, I could. In that case, I changed my mind. Yeah, I can see Call of Duty doing stuff like that. But I wonder if other games as a service will expand upon it. Let's say Destiny. Destiny's not a battle royale, but it is an ongoing game. Would they do it? Warframe. It's another one that's an ongoing service game that's pretty. Siege, Rainbow Six Siege. You know, look, those kind of titles.
It's really going to work in games that have multiplayer components, though.
Yeah, but like all the games I mentioned have multiplayer components.
Well, like what's the name of it? Warframe. It does have a multiplayer, but it's more single player. So I can see it being something completely different there.
But then what if you did the $12 a month, it gave you a certain number of platinum?
Yeah. I can see something
and then
like
as
that.
well as exclusive colors for your Warframes.
I can see that too, because you do have to. Yeah, because you do have. Oh yeah, because that's the thing people don't realize about that game. You do have to buy the You do have to buy your premium skin, not your skins, but your color palette.
Right. Also, you could add in to it on a monthly basis prime parts to build your prime warframes. You can add in weapons that are locked behind having certain ranks for like some of the factions and stuff like that. There's ways to get around it, even in PvE, where it would incentivize someone to say, you know what, instead of grinding in Warframe, doing those void fissure missions to get all the parts to make this Warframe, I could sign up and get a good number of them, as well as weapons that work best with that Warframe. I can see people doing that. But it's something that I guess we're going to have to see in the future as we get further into next generation and see how things tend to go, because we always think when it comes to the industry that we know how things are going to play out in the future just based off of what we've seen in the past. But if you go back to 2013, where we were then at this stage of last generation, we would have never even had the idea that something like Battle Royale would be big, and it would take over. It would help propel gaming into the mainstream, even though it was already kind of getting to the mainstream. But now it's like, you see high school kids finding it cool to play games. And back when you and I was, in high school, it wasn't cool to play games.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was corny, but we didn't care. But still, it's I think it's pretty interesting. But we can move on, since there ain't really much there to talk about that topic. Let's talk about PlayStation 5. This heat test that was done by Gamers Nexus, Steve from Gamers Nexus, and shout out to him. He actually does really, really good content.
Yes, he does.
What did you see the video?
I did.
What were your thoughts on it?
Bro, so the biggest fact of the matter is the systems are all fine. It's just the fact that a lot of people that have been seeing some of the errors when it comes to like the reconstruction of their memory and stuff could be a direct correlation to the fact that maybe one of these, well, not maybe, he actually confirmed that it does run hotter then it doesn't run hotter than it should be. It's still within tolerance levels. So it's within recommended. It's within recommended specs. But when you're in recommended specs, but you're at the very threshold of recommended specs, that's not good. Like my CPU can run it can get up to like 85, 90 degrees and run efficiently. But do you really want it to run at 80 to 90 degrees efficiency? Because the one thing people don't realize about heat is it literally degrades the components that it's attached to. That's why they tell you not to store your stuff in too cool of an area or too hot of an area. You want to have it in room temperature and ambient temperatures, because that helps it last longer. Now, when it comes to electronics, they're meant to run at a certain threshold, but not exceed that tolerance. And that's something that I noticed in his breakdown of the situation, that the PlayStation is definitely running in one of its SSD modules is running hotter than normal, but it's still within tolerance, which isn't it's not a cause for concern now. But the biggest question is, what is the long-term ramifications of this for a person that's going to be using the console 6, 7, 8, maybe, especially when the system first comes out, people are using them an awful lot. They're using them more now than they probably will use them at any other time than in the moment that they have them, because they just want to try out the new things that they have. So what's going to be the long-term viability and elasticity of these systems as they actually come out? So that's what the real question is going to end up being. But it's nothing that I didn't expect when I saw it, because where there's smoke there's fire. The reason people were having a lot of these issues with the reconstruction of their memory could be the fact that their system is overheating. But the other thing is, this is happening to people before they even, like, their system's not even on for 5 to 10 minutes.
Exactly. So that's what we'll get to. I don't think that particular issue that people are having with PlayStation 5 is due to this. These are these are like, one, the whole reconstructing of the database, reconstructing of that. That happened on PlayStation 4 as well. It usually happened when you had an improper shutdown. Let's say you had in rest mode, but you had a power outage. Or someone unplugged it by accident. When you turn it back on, it would do that and get you back on track. Seems like there's something else going on here with the PlayStation 5 that Sony hasn't quite figured out what the issue is, but they'll get it. I don't think the heat issue is the memory issue with the heat is the problem for that. That's something that, although what you said about, yes, it's within threshold. The threshold is 95 degrees Celsius, and it was at the full load, under full load, as you would call it, when you push your you stress test a system, it was at 93. Yeah. Now, I don't think it's an issue right now. It might be an issue in, say, 2 years from now, because as you and I both know, when it comes to PC components, this is what these are. These are technical PC parts here. Yep. You can run it within acceptable. Like with my stuff, I never want my stuff over 75 degrees Celsius. That's just how I am. I'm very conservative with it, but I also I push, like, I overclock my CPU. I push my stuff, but I don't like it over 75. I know it could go higher, but going higher shortens the lifespan of my components. If my CPU, if I never overclocked it and let it stay at stock, and it never went over 50 degrees Celsius, it would last me 10 years or more. Right. But overclocking it and then having it go higher, it lowers the lifespan. Now, we don't know for certain with this very specific build if that's going to be the issue with PlayStation 5. I hope it isn't, because, I'm going to have one. I don't want to have to turn that thing in. I definitely don't want a significant number of people to have issues down the road due to that. But we'll have to see. But something that needs to be, I want to clear up some misconceptions with things. One, there are people out here, I've seen it on Twitter, really like going at Steve from Gamers Nexus. One, going after the way he looks. That's wrong. Don't do that. Two, saying he doesn't know what he's talking about. these people clearly have not watched this man's channel prior to this point.
They definitely haven't.
This guy's got 1.2 million subs. He is the foremost person in the PC tech realm when it comes to being on point and accurate. People watch his reviews on everything. His word on GPUs and CPUs and the different manufacturers and PC is always well respected. He has called to task multiple makers in that realm, and they've had to rescind things that they were saying or doing based off things he said. Great example was a CPU cooler that came out earlier this year. The maker of the CPU cooler was bragging about how it had like this rigged interior to its heat pipes that was making it like bar none the best air cooler out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gamers Nexus took that thing apart, cut that heat pipe in half, split it open, was like, yeah, and nothing you said is in this heat pipe. Plus, we did the testing on it, and there's like 4 or 5 other coolers that are better. They had to change their marketing based off of his review. So he's not fanboy. He's not a dude that's out here. Like he can be overly critical at times, but I feel like it's more of like that's how he is, and not necessarily he's fanboying for a particular brand. That's just not the kind of dude he is. Now that said, I think the methodology of how he did his tests, although sound, is not all that relevant to gamers. And here's why. He described how he got his test in the very beginning. He went to Astro's Playroom, and there's a specific part in Astro's Playroom where you're kind of like in a dust storm. And he said they chose that part because there was so much moving things going on that they knew that the system was under full load. And so they sat there for a full hour. Who is going to play Astro's Playroom and sit at one part where there's a dust storm covering the screen and stuff is moving all over the place for a full hour? No one does that. Unless you just so happen like there's going to be one case where someone like gets a phone call and puts the controller down and walks off somewhere for a full hour and just leaves their game right there. But that's a rare instance. Right. And so the reason why I bring this up is that under that instance is where one memory module was at 93 degrees Celsius. That instance, that's not going to be consistent all throughout playing Astro's Playroom or Demon Souls or Godfall or Miles Morales. Mm-hmm. So maybe you'll have certain moments where you reach that. You play Astro's Playroom, you get through that section in like 10 seconds.
Right.
So there's not, it's not conducive to it becoming a real life scenario. I understand why he did it, to stress the system to its, highest point and see if it can break. But that's also not real world stuff, because as you can see reviewers take headsets, and I know a guy that does reviews for headsets. He tells the people who made the headset, I'm gonna break it, okay, just to see how easy it will break. He breaks it, but there's nobody doing the stuff that this guy does to break the headset so that, to make sure that how durable it is. Some people take care of that stuff, some people don't. So all that has to be taken into account, I think. And although it's an interesting video, I don't think it's fully relevant for gamers. I don't think PlayStation fans should feel concerned that my thing's going to overheat, and any of the issues that you're seeing with your PlayStation 5, if you are seeing them, there's something different. There have been GPU issues that are confirmed for both PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Those are not due to heat issues. Those are due to something different. So just relax on that stuff. I thought it was an interesting thing to bring up because it's everyone's been talking about it, so definitely want to make sure people understand where things really are, and just see through all the nonsense and bull crap.
Yeah. I think to say that, I think it just really just comes down to you bought
Symbol. What's up, man? How's it going?
What's up, Symbol? Yeah, I think it just really
Black
truly
card
comes.
was good.
Okay.
Go ahead. Rafe.
No, you're good.
Dizzy.
No, we gotta say hi to the people. Hi,
Yeah.
Dizzy. Matter of fact, go ahead and call out everybody, Slimmer.
No, I got everybody. And Dizzy, I wasn't going to slander Frostbite. I didn't need to slander it. It slanders itself.
I told him if he slandered Frostbite in the pre-show that Dizzy was going to be here to get on him. So he was very mindful of his slander today. Slimmer, how about if they rebuilt the Mass Effect in the Frostbite engine though?
You know what? That's interesting. I wonder if they would do that. I mean, they at this point, I would say that they have to be a lot more comfortable with the engine now than they were before. And then engines, they develop and they evolve over time. I know for certain that they're working on Frostbite. Like, it's not even on 2.0. I think it's already on 2.0. I think it might be Frostbite 3.0 at this point. So maybe it's become a lot more robust than what it was when it first started. And because now it's not just an engine being used for Battlefield, it's an engine being used for a lot of different games, different types of games. So it's got to be a lot more versatile, have a lot more tools in it and stuff to actually allow the developers to get the most out of their games and what they're trying to make. So I actually kind of wanted to be in Frostbite just to see if it's capable of doing Mass Effect at that level. The Mass Effect 1 was done in the Eclipse engine, which was a proprietary engine that BioWare had made. That was that one. They were trying to do Andromeda in the updated version of that actually looked great before EA came in and was like, nope, you gotta do Frostbite. And then they had to scratch everything. But Mass Effect 2 and 3 were done in Unreal Engine 3. So it may actually be easier because Unreal Engine still is using the very foundations of it. It's still like older Unreal Engine code. Actually, nah. It's going from Unreal Engine 3 to 4 was kind of difficult for some developers this past generation. So probably not worth it to just keep it in Unreal. Yeah, just do it in Frostbite, I think.
Yep, that's what I think. So, but when it just comes to the other thing we were talking about, I think for the most part, it really just comes down to you bought these systems, enjoy these systems. If you happen to have an issue, get in contact with Sony, get in contact with Microsoft. They do have 1-year warranties on them. It just really comes down to, I hate saying it, but this is what happens when you're in the first adopter. When you're first on the scene to try out new products and stuff like this is definitely something that can happen. But it doesn't mean that it's a death sentence for the system overall. I just think a lot of people with the you got to think how the 360 was bad, and we didn't even have social media back then to like really highlight how bad it was.
But you know what? The Red Ring of Death didn't happen immediately.
It did. It was over. It was almost like 7-8 months later. Almost
exactly.
A year later.
It took time for the bad design to rear its ugly head. So that's why I'm still like the issues people are seeing today isn't due to this. Like this test that Gamer Nexus did. If there's an issue, if that's really going to be a problem, if games are really hitting that temp and staying there on a long period, I doubt it. That's true, but I don't know for a fact. But I don't think it is. You're not going to see the effects of that until over a year from now. It's going to shorten the lifespan of the components that are affected. But that's not like. Yeah, I really just doubt that that's what the issue is. Let's see here. People in the chat saying Dizzy said no slander for Frostbite. Ray said thank you on that input. No problem, man. Melodic says work is bending him over right now. I hope they're using lube because that could be pretty bad. And Ray said he got a 2-year geek insurance on his PlayStation 5. Yeah, always get the warranty, man. Get that warranty because once you're depending on the manufacturer. I remember when the Red Ring of Death stuff happened, Microsoft actually really stepped up and made sure that if you had that issue, they were, even if you were outside of warranty, they were taking your console and either giving you a new one or trying to fix it. So I know there were some people who just went out and bought a new one because they didn't want to wait because there was like a two-week wait. I remember I had the issue. I sent it to them. I just played my PlayStation in the meantime, and I got it back in 2 weeks, but other people didn't do that, but they were fixing it for free. Now, I remember back on the original PlayStation, and you remember when Sony had the great idea of putting the vents on the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that bad idea. Such a bad idea, because people, of course, are playing their PlayStation, oriented right side up, with the vents down, and it wasn't venting the heat properly, and people's PlayStations was getting messed up. And I recall them. Was it that one, or was it PlayStation 2 that they had a high failure rate? But I think it was that one. I think it was the PlayStation 1. But I remember a lot of people back then saying they couldn't, they were outside of warranty. Sony was like, all right, I don't know what you want me to do here. You better buy another PlayStation. So you don't know how it's going to turn out once you're past warranty. So if the retailer that you bought it from has a warranty, especially if you bought someone like Best Buy, whose warranties are amazing, go ahead and get that warranty. Because what's going to happen is if your stuff gets messed up, they're just going to give you a brand new one. Get you out of their hair. They're just like, here's a new unit. Bye-bye. So
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I know that's what I would do. Get out my face. I don't want to deal with you no more.
So I guess we can move on to our main topic of the night, right?
Yeah.
This Phil Spencer interview. But first of all, let me
Shout
say
out to
this.
Phil Spencer and all his interviews.
What the heck is going on? Are you working, Phil? Are you doing anything besides interviews? Because this guy does more interviews than they have games.
Goddamn slow.
Am I wrong?
Damn slow.
What?
It takes time to make games slow.
But I'm saying though, I mean,
no, you can do 3 interviews in 2 days, and you can't even complete. You can't even complete a game. You can't even complete a game in a day.
Well, some games you can.
Well, not the games that these people want to play.
Phil does 3 interviews in his sleep.
Oh man!
I'm saying the guy be look.
He ain't even the one that's making the games either.
He's like, look. At this point, I feel like I've read so many of these interviews with Phil Spencer that I know his answers to his questions before I read them. Like I can answer it for him. Like, hey, we want to be inclusive of gamers, Game Pass. We want it on all platforms. That's right. Yeah. Don't know about Bethesda. Don't know what we're going to do. We might make it exclusive. We might not. We don't know yet. I can't talk about it. Moving on. Yes, I love Game Pass, love xCloud on everything, apps, TVs, toasters, ovens, all that stuff. Great. Like, I mean, I know his spiel, every time. Although he's great at this interviewer was really trying to get him to say some other stuff. He do so many interviews. You can't catch the dude slipping. You can't make him say something you don't want to say. He going to say what he going to say, But
right.
Yeah, Rafe, he talks too much. I agree with that. He talks way too much, man. He got sometimes just stop talking, man. Like his comments on Halo, I'm like, I know these comments word for word. I feel like he practices that spiel in the mirror. I've read that before. Mirror? But let's just get touched on a couple of things that he spoke about. So
okay,
he talked about the late manufacturing of the Xbox Series console. So he admitted that they didn't really get started to manufacturing the consoles in factories in mass until like late summer. So I'm thinking like what, August? August is still summer, right?
Yes, it is.
So August, July, he said they were behind. And that I absolutely will. You gotta leave that to stuff like COVID. Okay, I get that.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, but also he did say this. Well, it's COVID at the root of it, but more of AMD. There was something about the AMD SoC, the system on the chip, the APU that they use that AMD didn't finish yet. So they were waiting on AMD. Because without AMD's chip, you can't. That's the heart of the entire thing.
Also probably due to COVID.
Yeah. So I was thinking probably that maybe AMD was behind due to that, but that's the main reason why they're kind of coming in hot, and they don't have as much inventory as they would like to have, and it causing really a lot of issues with people getting the systems that they want. Now, earlier I was talking about Best Buy and how Best Buy last Sunday was able to make sure that the bots didn't take up all the inventory. The people, the real gamers out here that were wanting the consoles, the PlayStation 5s, the Xbox Series consoles, they got what they were looking for. And their method, I thought was really good. Well, after, I was sleep knocked out when it happened. But from what people said is that when you first hit the add to cart, it wouldn't take you in. It would tell you, hold on, we're checking something. Now, although I kind of feel like what they should have did was say, look, we're checking to make sure you ain't a bot. But they just said we're checking something. Some people kept spamming F5 like I probably would have did. But eventually they let you in. And then you hit a button and you go in, you add it to your cart. Then they got the whole two-factor authentication. So you had to verify who you were or whatever, that you weren't a bot by they put your phone number and they send you a text message. You put in a code, verification code, bam, two-factor authentication. Awesome. Then you had to do it again once you put your credit card information in. So 2 checks of two-factor authentication. I'm like, damn, Best Buy, all right. And then to top it all off, you got to choose a location near you to pick it up from. Great. I know some people got tripped up with that because they couldn't find a location to pick it up from, but that's to make sure that some dickhead in Wisconsin doesn't purchase 50 PlayStation 5s from Best Buy. So I thought that was a good look, and I think that's something that shout out to Best Buy, because Phil said it in the interview that retailers don't really need to, they're getting their money, or maybe it was the interviewer that said it, but at some point someone in there was talking about how retailers are going to get their money regardless. So it really isn't a incentive for them, the retailer, to make sure that the right people get the consoles. Although I do feel like Sony and Microsoft feel differently, and here's why. Now, I'll point this to you, man.
Okay.
I think the big reason why they don't like this is that it's about attach rate. They're probably looking at their numbers right now and it's like, yeah, this don't look good. Yeah, we may have sold out all of our stock, and literally every single piece of console that we created is sold. But there's a significant number of them still sitting in boxes and not being used. The attach rate, especially in the beginning of a console generation, is really important because you're selling these things at almost cost. And then when it comes to the Series S and the PlayStation 5 digital at a loss, you want to make your money back up off of sales of games, services. And if a scalper is holding on to that unit and charging 300% upcharge off of MSRP, that ain't happening. At least not, ain't gonna be there forever, but you're not making that money right away. So I feel like they're probably like, we gotta get these things into the hands of gamers and not into the hands of scalpers who are now artificially inflating the price of a system that we specifically priced this way, and we're not getting all that additional money off of it anyway. So what do you think, man?
No, you're in the right lane. I do think though, do they actually care as much as you say they do? I think in a normal year, absolutely. When they're when they know they're going to be able to, have maximize their attach rates and stuff like that, like PS4 and Xbox One did. I don't know too much right now because the fact that these systems are at a store where you have to go in and get them, because the majority of all these systems are being sold online right now. Even PlayStation came out and said that, we won't have systems available in stores going forward. We're basically saying we want all of our retailers to sell them online. I think GameStop's the only one that I can even think of that after that announcement, basically said that you'll be able to walk into a store on Black Friday and get a PS5 because outside of pre-orders, everything for PlayStation has been online. Now, Xbox, they can go.
Which, by the way, PS Direct, I do have to say, PS Direct is awesome.
Yeah.
It may not, people may not feel that way because of the lottery system. You get put into a queue and it's a lottery, and even someone that jumped on the queue 10 minutes after you could be ahead in the queue than you and get a system, and you don't get through the queue before they sell out. But at least you know bots not getting it, and that everyone who's getting a system is an actual person is going to put it to use. So I do think it. I think under normal circumstances, if the retailers weren't so bad at stopping bots, that the PlayStation Direct wouldn't be so frustrating for people. But my bad. Go ahead.
No, I no, you're right. But I think that's the biggest thing, though. The fact that they know attach rates are going to plummet when you're only offering online because people are only, unless you got retailers that are going to specifically make bundles like GameStop did, like like Kohl's, like what?
Enrique in the chat. What's up, Enrique? Enrique says, rumor has it PlayStation. This is a rumor, of course. PlayStation 5 has outsold Series X by 1 million and some change. Again, rumor. Sounds like you might owe me a game in January, sir.
I already knew I was going to lose NPD because they switched all of their. When PlayStation committed all of their resources to North America and Xbox said they're going worldwide, I already knew I lost because Xbox isn't going to win an MPD.
We can make it worldwide sales. You want to make it worldwide sales?
No, because they wasn't going to win worldwide sales anyway.
Exactly.
I was banking on Xbox. I was banking on them doing more systems here in America. And they didn't. They went worldwide where Sony was like, we're going to come to your territory and we're going to, saturate your market because we already know we're going to win the worldwide market. So when Sony did that, I already kind of knew that was the thing because we even talked about it. I used it. You want to give up now? I said, no, I'll wait. It gives me more time until that announcement come to have to pay up this $60 game that I'm gonna have to buy.
Yeah, so, I don't know what game I want yet. I was talking to Eric about this. I was like, Eric, I don't, shout out to Eric Jackson.
You were actually talking to him about my money and what I was going to do with it already?
Well, no, that's my money.
No, it's not your money yet. You I'm going to do
with the money that you're going to give me. So that's so I'm trying.
Well, Villain basically paying for all this because he's still going to pay me.
Shout out to Villain.
I'm just waiting for.
He can afford it.
Exactly.
Villain of the marble floors and the action figures that are like life size.
Right.
He can afford it.
He can
clearly
afford all this.
No, I don't know what game I want yet. I need to look at what's coming out in January. I'll check it out. But my bad. Continue, man.
No. I mean, but that's what, like I was saying. When it comes to the attach rate, I think you would be right. But the fact that they're selling all these systems through at normal means, like most of the time, most systems sell at the retail store because that's where you have the bigger attach potential at because people walk into the store, they're being asked questions about their gaming habits and stuff. They may see extra headsets, they may pick up an extra game compared to when you go to a website and you just see a PlayStation there. You just want to get that PlayStation, especially right now due to this whole situation where it's already so hard to get it. You ain't trying to click on anything that's not a PlayStation. So you just try to get that thing in a cart and buy it. Right. So I think right now they kind of understand that their attach rates are going to be kind of crappy. But that's just the nature of everything going on. I do think that the situation at hand is just not going to get better anytime soon. People think that we're going to be able to you're going to be able to walk into a store in January and still buy a PlayStation or find an Xbox? No. I think right now you're looking at the earliest, probably February for Xbox, March or April for PlayStation.
Phil said that maybe he was just trying to give people the worst case scenario, but he said spring. He didn't think it would normalize for Xbox until spring.
Well, you got to think, if you think about the whole 3-month timeline, because basically everything got delayed by 3 months because that's when China went under lockdown. They came out of lockdown towards the end of January, beginning of February. So you got to think that was part of the that was part of the productivity line for the Xbox and for the PlayStation. So with them being down that long, and you just spread that 3 months out across, this year, going into launch, going into next year, that puts you at about March, and that's the beginning of spring. So I think that's the reason that the CFO, when he came out and talked about, they don't see a divergence between demand and manufacturing kind of hitting a apex with each other, where there's enough systems to meet demand for the people that want them. And he said the same thing. That's like March, like not March. He said like first quarter, like the end of first quarter of next year. So it's going to be unfortunate. I just think that this is going to be a lot of people's last chance to find a system the traditional way, because especially if you looked at that interview of the scalper in the website and how they go about their business with a subscription service to basically inform people before people even know they're going to be available to buy.
Right.
That right there opened up my eyes even more to the fact that y'all out here, people out here losing. They out here losing battles, especially on websites like Walmart and stuff. You losing. Target, you losing. Yeah,
there are people out here renting bots to get what they want. They're renting the bots. Like I think it was people were paying weekly or monthly.
It's monthly. It was like $40 a month.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
$530 a year.
Yeah, man, it's wild. I also in this interview, I feel pretty much confirmed what I said about the Series S, that they weren't making as many of them due to just cost. He also mentioned like the market. I think he also addressed something I think you were saying about there not being as many casual gamers purchasing these systems this early in a new console generation, so there was no need to make as many of the Series S's as they're making of the Series X. But that's going to change as costs go down with the creation of them, and it becomes a little bit more feasible. And then later on, people start picking up something that's cheaper just because.
Yeah, right now, price ain't even an option for these people. People out here I haven't even mentioned, because I haven't seen a digital PS5 or a S in my store since they launched. People ask me, like, how much are the PlayStation and Xbox? I say $500. I say, oh, okay. I know what I'm looking in for there. People at this point, they're ready to spend whatever they need to spend. And I think
I want to address something in the chat that a really great point. I think this is Doch. I probably said that wrong. I apologize.
Oh, you probably did.
Yeah, but he said this is ridiculous. How can I walk into a store and buy a $1,000 cell phone with no problem, but gotta break my neck to buy a console? Shaking my head. That's facts. That's big facts. You can get an iPhone way easier than getting these consoles, and the iPhone costs. The cheapest model that comes out on an annual basis is like a good $300-400 more expensive than these, and it's due to the fact that Samsung, LG, Apple, they drop phones on an annual basis. They are used to the crush, they're used to the bots, and they've created systems to fight this already. You could if you want to get an iPhone and they sell out at launch, they'll back order it.
No back order, yeah, that's
right. Like I'm on a back order list for an EVGA, the video graphics card. I'm waiting to get the email.
Oh, you on the back list for the 3080?
I think I went with the 3070 because if it comes out that I get,
you were gonna wait.
I was, but then I got this issue with my GPU, and if if MSI gives me a refund instead of giving me a upgraded card for it, then I'm just going to take that money and give it to EVGA. So, but essentially, and it's a pretty cool system. They back order it when basically puts you in a line. You have a place in line, and when your time is up,
they give you a certain amount of time to buy it.
Right, they give you 8 hours.
Yep, EVGA, they say here's your email, 8 hours to buy, or it's going to the next person.
And I think that is awesome. Gives people enough time. Let's say you didn't know what was going to happen. You need to get your finances together, move some money around. You got 8 hours to figure it out, and go get that product that you wanted. And I think that's great. And I did like that Phil Spencer acknowledged that there are ways to do things, and maybe they're looking into ways to kind of mitigate the scalper issue. Because look, gaming has come into mainstream. It's not like how it was before. Now when you have a high demand product, you're going to get scalpers and bots taking all that product up and artificially raising the prices to it. So you got to do what other companies that manufacture these products do to make sure that doesn't happen to you. And so, maybe we'll see some changes in the future, but unfortunately it's been a lot of frustration at the launch of next generation. But I think it's about time we talked about, I think a lot of people want to hear us talk about, which is this whole tribe. Let me get the Phil Spencer's exact words before we start talking about this.
Tribalism. Oh, it was great. As soon as I read the headline, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna trend."
And it's funny. And I was talking to Luca earlier today, and she was like, "It's real interesting how people zoomed in on this quote here when there's like." This is a long interview. He talks about so many different things. And
it's like 5 different subjects in this one. You can literally make 4 videos off this one interview.
Mm-hmm. Some people probably going to do that too.
I know I am.
But it's like only people seem to only be talking about the one part that he was saying about, the whole tribalism stuff. And so why, is the interview is so long. I'm having a hard time. Here we go.
Just go find Ashton Lucas video, and then you can like kind of.
No, I got it.
Points. Shout out to Ashton Lucas for putting up a great video today.
Yeah, she absolutely did. Yeah, shout out to Luca. The question was in regards to,
what up, Artemis?
Yeah, what's up, Artemis? Him seeing where people out there they'll take a hammer to an Xbox, like people purchased your product to smash it, to break it, and he answered that, but then he started to kind of go into, I guess, fanboyism and stuff like that. And so, where is the part? Because but especially in the console space, there's like a core of the core. I guess he means the hardcore of the hardcore, the most fanatical. Back to his quotes. That have, I think, taken it to a destructive level of, quote, I really want that to fail so the thing that I bought succeeds. I'm saying on both sides. I'm not saying that it's all people crushing Xboxes and everybody that loves Xbox is always completely inviting to all the PlayStation stuff. I've said before that I find it distasteful, but maybe that is too light. I just really despise it. I don't think we have to see others fail in order for us to achieve the goals. That's not some kind of kumbaya thing. It's actually real. We're in the entertainment business. The biggest competitor we have is apathy over the products and services and games that we build. So, and then he said something else, but at the end of it, he said, to me, it's one of the worst things about our industry. So, Forte, what do you think about that, man?
He's absolutely right. It makes total sense to me. That's the one thing I like about Phil Spencer the most.
Are you eating?
I was chewing gum when you called me.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, man,
I was eating, Skittles. So good.
So you are eating
Skittles. I was eating.
Look, I'm just saying, like, it's hard to hear what you're saying.
No, I was. Well, I expected your. I expected your diatribe to go a little bit longer than it did, and I was hoping to be able to swallow these Skittles before you called on me. But you called me mid-sentence in the middle of taking like 4 Skittles to the mouth. Shout out to the berry blue ones. They're actually really good. Yeah, pause. Pause. But no, he's absolutely right. To me, Phil Spencer, and this is why I like Phil Spencer, it comes down to a lot of people, when they look at him, he's the head of Xbox. He's the voice of Xbox. So when he says something like this, people kind of inflate it. I mean, they kind of make it look like he's the CFO. He's like the head of Xbox. Why is he saying something like this? Because he's supposed to be in competition with Sony and PlayStation and everybody else. But he's kind of a different cat. Like, you know, people don't realize that he's one of those people that actually plays games. I mean, how many owners of a platform, not owners, but how many heads of a platform do you know are going to go on a talk show? Shout out to Gary Whitta. Go on a talk show that's inside of a game on a competitor's platform and do an interview talking about Xbox over there. The game we're talking about is in the name of my, you know, Animal Crossing for Game of the Year. You know, shout out to Animal Crossing. But how many people do you know that, Slomo? That's
nice nomination for Animal Crossing. It's not going to
win. What do you? I mean, you got Final Fantasy VII up there, but we know that's not going to win because it's not a full game. Even though it's got more, even though it's bigger than most games that came out this year.
It's the full game.
It's the full first part of the game.
Full game.
Whatever. Period. Okay, I'm with you. Okay, but who do you know that would do that? Do you think Jim Ryan would go on? No. I just don't see that happening. So Phil Spencer is one of those people that literally is platform agnostic when it comes to like how he enjoys his games. Yes, he reps and he's a Microsoft employee that runs one of the most, you know, well-known divisions in gaming, but that still doesn't change the fact that he doesn't see himself like most of the fans see these different platforms. You know, he'll take a stand up and say he doesn't like this in a certain media versus what other things are going. And people will basically say, well, he's only saying that because he ain't got nothing to support. Nothing on Xbox is really standing out. So he's basically just trying to make it like, oh, well, he's only really saying that because Xbox isn't winning. So he's trying to basically, you know, sugarcoat basically the temperature in a room. And I'm like, no, this is just how he is. It makes perfect sense to me. But the tribalism in video games has always been there. You know, it's just even more at a heightened awareness now that we have social media to really push that narrative. People have been having battles on corners and at other people's houses due to the system that you have versus the system this person have. You know, you've been seeing people drop Xboxes or throw them out of windows and stuff for 20 years now, you know, ever since Xbox came out. And but the way I always looked at it is that just means that you're doing something right when people feel like they got to go out of their way to like buy something to show that they want to destroy it on camera to try to get a reaction out of people. That means you're kind of doing something right, that they feel like they have to go to those extremes on top of trying to self-promote themselves. And I think that's mostly what a lot of that is just self-promotion. But he's absolutely right to that extent. Now, how people are going to take that quote is completely different. You know, everybody's going to take it probably a different way. I take it as a good thing. And I kind of realized that about Phil when he talked about not wanting to take games away from people. You know, and when I say that thing, and somebody's probably going to say, well, he's talking about he may take games like, you know, Fallout and stuff like that away. Well, those are games that they own. I think the biggest thing he always talked about is if it's a game that we can have in Game Pass and have an exclusive right to have it in our Game Pass service where it still is available on other platforms, but we can give our gamers a benefit like that by not having to buy the game to try it out. That's the benefit that he's talking about, where it's something like that compared to when he's in Destiny and part of the freaking game is exclusive to another platform and you may not ever get it. You know, those are the type of things that he doesn't like to, you know, see when it comes to gaming and stuff like that. So it's a lot of stuff to unpack in this conversation, but overall, it just really comes down to how do you feel about tribalism yourself? Are you one of those people that feed on it? Are you a person that really come to Twitter or go to YouTube and watch these comment sections for all the smoke? Because to you, it might seem like, it's better things for Phil Spencer to really kind of talk about other than talk about, you know, what these people out here in the world are doing when it comes to like trying to promote one platform over the other. But it is a huge conversation, especially when people are at home. It's not a lot of things going around. Every little thing that these consoles do and don't do they're literally being, the receipts are being kept on that, I should say. And that's something that Phil Spencer's got to think about. That's something that Jim Ryan over at PlayStation's got to think about. But Phil Spencer's the one person of all of the heads of gaming I know that's willing to put a conversation out here like that and really just stand up and say, I'm not for this. And to me, it's kind of juvenile and trivial.
So before I get into my response, do you think he said at the last part of his entire quote was, let me go pull it up again just to make sure I got it. To me, it's one of the worst things about our industry. Do you think that is unique to the video game industry?
No, it's just the worst. No, it's definitely not unique. I mean, think about it. It happens everywhere. Anything that has a fan base that roots for one thing over another thing, it's there.
Yeah,
it may not be as pronounced. Sports
Apple
is huge
versus Android.
Oh, that's
It's in it's in all kinds of different markets where there's a preference, where I may prefer this product or this platform over that other platform, and there are going to be people who choose sides. Now, me personally, I don't get into any of that. I'm not holding the flag, a green or a blue flag, or if for Nintendo, a red flag to anybody.
Coke or Pepsi.
Yeah, Coke or Pepsi. It's just not unique. And so the reason why, now I get the whole, like, I think it's weird to purchase a product to destroy it. Like that those guys in Brazil who purchase PlayStations and destroy them in parking lots and run over them and stuff. You're weird. The guys that
drop their PlayStation in a pool of water.
Yeah, weird. You people taking a sledgehammer to an Xbox Series X. You a weirdo. Something's not right with you. You wasted $500 to do that and then record it. Like you got problems. I think. Now, I don't think I think those are like really, really super fringe people. Like, I don't think that is the majority.
That's not the majority.
But I think Phil was kind of mixing those people with the people who are just yellow on Twitter and say Xbox sucks or PlayStation sucks and really go in on another platform, hyping up another piece of plastic. I don't quite get that myself either, but I think it's not really, I'm not going to say it's not worth mentioning but I understand he's expressing how he feels, which is fine. I don't think it matters though. It's not like it's going to change because, as we said, this is present in literally every single industry or piece of entertainment out there. You got your Marvel versus DC fanboys over comic books. Stuff happens. It's going to happen in every industry. It's not like Phil Spencer is standing on the beach trying to stop a tsunami from hitting the beach. You're not going to win this fight here. It's not changing anytime soon. That said, I do think some people need to chill with some their foolishness, because sometimes I see stuff that's just like, yo, are you kidding? Like when I think it was some years back, someone died. Matter of fact, it was the guy that was a veteran, and I think he had got injured in service of our country, and he was in like a wheelchair or something. He was a big Xbox fan, and he had unfortunately died, and someone used his death to make light of Xbox or console war or something like that. Like,
yeah, I remember that was over the summer.
Yeah, you piece of garbage individual. Like you go play in traffic. Like people like that can't stand them.
Make sure you don't stand on the divider. Stand in the middle of the lane.
Yeah. Play hopscotch with the divider.
Right.
It's just like people like that. They need help. And
R. Kelly versus the people.
Lakers versus Celtics. We got
that's a video game. That was the good Pepsi. The good Pepsi products is Mountain Dew.
But I'm just like, you're gonna get those people. We should shame them every time they rear their ugly heads. but like Phil, it does kind of come off, even though he says this isn't kumbaya, it does come off kind of kumbaya, because what you're really saying is like, I wish there was world peace. Like the like the pageants where the girls go up there, they say their speech is like, I want there to be world peace and puppies to grow big and cute, and everyone that love each other, and be like, yeah, but in the real world that ain't really what's going on. That ain't going to happen. So it's a good sentiment in the whole field, but it's not reality, bro. I think it's not reality.
No, I don't think that is reality or not. It's just the fact, like, okay, think of us. So do we hold him to a different standard than us just having a conversation about how we feel about gaming because he's the head of Xbox? Is that?
I'm not saying he can't say what he said.
Right.
Like I said before, he's welcome to his opinion, and it's his opinion, and he felt really compelled to add that in there because I think he feels really 100% strongly about that. But you gotta okay.
Go ahead. Yeah,
here we go. Because I'm trying to hold off.
This is the inflection point right here. This is what I want to hear. Let's go.
How come you can talk about this? And I'm not trying to come at Phil Spencer's neck, but I don't see you speaking the same energy about Xbox Milground. I don't. Because that guy is toxic, and Xbox Brazil promoted him. So what's up? And it took a long time for them to see what he was doing. And I'm like, I don't know how, when people was like tagging and retweeting and like, look at this, look at the stuff he says, look at the things he's doing. How is it that you gave this guy a platform? Crazy. How is it that we had issues at Mixer, where people in leadership at Mixer are going around telling other people of color that you shouldn't be so sensitive when we make light of racism and make light of slavery? He said he was going to do something about it, but all we got was Mixer getting shut down early. It was going to get shut down anyway.
I mean, Microsoft does a lot.
And that executive, we know that executive should have been fired immediately?
Could have been. We just don't know.
But she wasn't. She wasn't.
Oh, I don't know.
And so stuff like that is like, okay, Phil, I get what you're saying. This is, people doing crazy stuff like breaking Xboxes, and the tribalism is wild in the industry, even though it's in everything. But gotta make sure that your side of the woods is clear.
But do we know how this conversation came up in the interview, though?
In the interview, he was talking about, I'll go back to what the interviewer was saying. He said, you mentioned people lining up. There's all these cultural things that happen at a console launch. People line up, then there's waves of unboxings. Then one thing that just mystifies me is there's a wave of people who run over the new Xbox with their car and smash it with a hammer. What goes through your head when the inevitable people smashing my new console is happening, and your next phone call is with your retail partners to figure out how you can get them more? So he talked about that, and then he just went into.
I mean, he literally legit asked the question like that.
I'm not saying.
I'm with you if it's something that just came up in just a regular conversation where he just gave his opinion, and like, let's say he was just talking about. They were talking about toxicity in general. Then he just pivoted. He said, let me get this off my chest about toxicity. And then he just brung up the fact of people running over consoles and people doing the things that they're doing. I think now, great. I'm looking at people in the chat basically talk about it. I've been saying for a while now, Xbox just needs to be quiet about a lot of things. They need to stop talking about Bethesda. They don't need to be bringing that up anymore, because the more they talk about it. The way to do
that is to stop doing all these daggone interviews.
Exactly.
Because that's part of doing these interviews. What else are they going to talk about? They can do
the interviews. They
ain't got no games out right now. You ain't got no games that are exclusive to the platform right now. So people are going to ask you the same questions they asked you before
the console launch. If they come out in an interview and say, we're not talking about any Bethesda related things until the acquisition is complete. Then either they won't get people that want to interview them because they know they're not going to talk about Bethesda, or the people that do interview them aren't going to bring it up because they know they're not going to answer it because they already gave it in the release that we're not talking about Bethesda stuff until the acquisition is complete. That's what they need to do. They need to hard fast come out and say, because they have not done that yet. It baffles me that even Phil Spencer got mad and even talked about it. He was like, I hate when people keep asking me what's going on with the acquisition of all of these studios that we have and where the games are going to be at. I don't want
too many interviews. If you only did an interview every time you guys actually were doing something, then you wouldn't be asked this question all the time. This is also
the time of year where, like you just said, Slow-Mo, new systems just came out 2 weeks ago and people have a bunch of questions.
3 interviews since the launch of the console.
I mean, there's thousands of people. There's 4 outlets that want to. That you don't think IGN wanted to interview Phil Spencer? You don't think
nothing else to ask? Just do a piece on what was already answered.
You don't think IGN reached out to him to want to interview him since then?
Dude, what else can you ask Phil?
It ain't one thing.
What else can you ask?
Do you think so you're trying to say, so you basically said IGN would not have reached out to him if you were a publisher or an editor at IGN?
They're going to do that for the click. Of course, they're going to do that for the click.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So he's going. But
he doesn't have to say yes.
Slow-mo.
Well, look, to get back to my point, make sure your house is in order before you speak out on things. Just make sure your house is in order and that you guys are all on the up and up before you start calling everyone else out. That's all I'm saying in regards to that specifically.
Well, they're not really calling nobody.
I'm not saying he's calling out, extremist fanboys is what he's doing. Now, I'm not saying he can't have his opinion about it. I'm not even saying I disagree with him. I'm just saying that when I first read that, I was just like, I literally was thinking about, like, as he was talking about the tribalism, and I'm thinking about particular Xbox extremists doing things. That's the
difference. That's the difference. When I look at and maybe that's the inherent difference between me and a lot of other people. I don't think of Phil Spencer when he's talking about Xbox in general, like what they're doing around Xbox. I look at him as the person that's running Xbox and the things he's doing for Xbox. But when he's talking about his opinion on things that's happening in the industry, in his eyes, I look at him as just like a gamer like everybody else. If he's a person, like, I can't stand tribalism. Like, yes, I prefer an Xbox, but
he's not just a gamer. He's the head of Xbox.
He's still just a gamer at the end, though, bro.
No,
just because he has
you can't pick and choose when you're gonna own your label or not. Your job is head of Xbox.
I guarantee you, if you ask him,
if he was just a gamer, no one wants to interview him,
no matter what.
If he's just a gamer, no one wants to interview him.
He can't run from it. He's still the head.
He can't run from it. This is his third interview in 2 weeks. Like,
so he shouldn't say anything about what he feels about tribalism in gaming if that question is asked to him.
No, I think he could have done a lot more to this answer. I would have liked to see, and I don't have an exact issue. Hold on. I don't have an exact issue with the root of what he's saying. I just would have liked to have seen, he did acknowledge. He said, I'm not saying it's all people crushing Xboxes and everybody that loves Xbox is always completely inviting to all the PlayStation stuff. But I didn't think that was enough. I think he should have really expounded upon that a little bit more. And then when it comes to it internally in the Microsoft, where you see some really ugly things happening to people who work there, and it's not fully addressed correctly. It's like, I know that's not apples to apples thing.
Well, that's the thing I'm trying to say. It's not an apples to apples thing. It's two different things. I understand what you're saying, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm insensitive to the conversation.
He's like, it's one of the worst things about our industry. And I'm like, I think it's one of the worst things about this industry is that it's really hard for people of color and people who don't look a certain way or think a certain way to break into it. as well as things like crunch, other things that he's spoken out about, but it's just
50,000 things that could be worse about the industry. We got to go back to what the question that was asked. The question was, it wasn't asked about inclusivity with gamers and people of color. That question wasn't asked. The question was, how do you feel about the breaking of Xboxes and a platform that you own and the tribalism that these people have when it comes around a certain platform? That's the question he was asked. So that was the question that he dove into to have that conversation. It doesn't mean that just because he doesn't talk about the other things that is something that he doesn't care about, but it's just like anything else. You're going to get a response. Like, what was that one? It was an interview. I forget what interview it was. He said, I'm going to be careful to answer this question exactly how you're asking it to me. He literally, it was in his quote. He said, I'm going to answer this question specifically to what you're asking.
That's a different interview though.
But I'm just saying, but that was that you got to think, if that was his mindset then, and that was around, I forget what that interview was around, but think about Bethesda. Yeah, it was about Bethesda, because that was right before he got to the tipping point where that's when he went into that diatribe about not wanting to keep answering questions about Bethesda. And the first thing I said was, then y'all need to come out and tell people y'all not talking about Bethesda stuff anymore, or stop doing interviews. That's what y'all need to do. Those are the two things that's going to stop
the
that.
The latter would be the smarter decision.
Well, no, the latter would be the smarter thing, but there's two options to that conversation. But ultimately, the question was asked of him of this particular situation, and him saying this is one of the worst parts of the gaming of the industry day, in his opinion. It's one of the worst. He didn't say it was the worst. He didn't say it was the absolutely only worst. It was the biggest issue in his eyes compared to the conversation that was being talked about in the interview at that time. And I look at him as a person, when he looks at that, he's looking at it as a person that, how do I feel about it? Now he's the head of Xbox. So instantly people are going to say, yo, head of Xbox doesn't like tribal. I mean, look at all the articles, and we're talking about it on this podcast. You don't even have tribalism in the name of the title of this video. So you might not get as many clicks as you should get. Slow-mo, I need you to change that. But I think that's the biggest problem. He's the head of Xbox. People don't like when people of state, when it comes to these systems or these platforms, come out and have these really big opinions like that, because they feel like they should be above that type of stuff and just keep it business. I don't think Phil Spencer's kept it business all the time. He does have interviews where he does act that way, but he's also had a lot of interviews where he spoke very candidly about how he felt about certain situations that pertain to the gaming industry.
See what you're saying?
I know you do.
All I'm saying is that I get that answer. There's a way to answer that, and I think that, like, yeah, of course, I hate seeing the product that we worked so long on developing getting broken up by people who don't care. But it is what it is. Short answer. Move on to the next question.
Yeah, I'm with you. Final Fantasy VII versus Animal Crossing Tribes. That's what's up, Artemis. Who would you pick? I pick Animal Crossing.
No, you don't. You ain't even. Did you play Animal Crossing?
Yes, I got over 120 hours. I built 6 islands. I did it in quarantine while I was at. What do you think I was doing when I was at work? Not having a system there with me. I had my Switch there playing Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I'm not supporting Animal Crossing. Matter of fact,
look, honestly, neither one of them are really going to win Game of the Year. What's going to win Game of the Year is Ghost. Ghost is going to win Game of the Year.
That's the only game I'm worried about, honestly.
But look, we can move on. I think we killed this topic. The last thing about that interview I wanted to kind of touch on was about Game Pass, and I think it was specifically the interviewer asked him about Game Pass as an app, and Phil confirmed that definitely that's going to happen in the next year. So in 2021, I'm thinking we're probably going to see Game Pass as an app on like your smart TV. You know how like but with mine, you got TVs now have like a Linux based system where it's you got these apps that are up there, and it's pretty much like your Roku if you have a Roku, and you can choose that, or you can just choose to go into cable TV if you still have cable TV. Who does? And but they want Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass, to be one of those, and so then it would be just strictly you playing your Game Pass games through xCloud, and that's it. And honestly, I kind of feel like where they are at with infrastructure, I know Game Pass, xCloud on phones right now with 720p resolution. Don't really know where the graphical settings are at. Honestly, I mean, they could be pretty low and you really know it too much because your phone's so much smaller, the screen's so much smaller, but 60 frames per second, I think, right?
See that, Slomo? You see that right there?
Yeah.
You see what that says?
Play for 100 hours. That was a waste of time.
Wait, hold on. There's the gamer thing, just so you can see it.
Okay, that was a lot of waste of time. I just want to let you know that.
45 hours of Pokemon Sword and Shield.
You wasted a lot of time, man.
Ain't no wasting time, sir. It's just real 100 hours. Let's see what else is on here.
Oh, do we really need to do all this? I mean,
I'm just you thought I was look, quarantine saved people.
I asked the question. I didn't believe you play Animal Crossing. I always said, actually, did you play Animal Crossing?
New Horizons played for 100 hours or more. Shout out to Animal Crossing. All right, back to your question.
I'm still gonna lose anyway. About so what I was saying now, I think. Well, one, they don't have the time to implement this yet. By the time the ZeniMax acquisition gets completed, they have Orion, which is supposed to a middleware engine software that's supposed to really allow streaming to take off. It's supposed to allow 4K 60 on streaming platforms and doing it in a great way. I haven't played it. I think they've been demoing it with Doom 2016. I haven't tried it out yet, but I think that definitely played a part in the reason why they wanted to acquire ZeniMax, and not just the studios and IP that they could use for Game Pass. But that's it. I don't think they're going to have them long enough before they roll this out as an app in 2021 in order to actually do anything in regards to improving the quality, because there's one thing to play xCloud on your phone at 720p 60 frames per second. It's a whole nother thing to be playing it on your smart TV, your 4K smart TV, and you're getting a 720 resolution. That is going to be a big blurry mess, and so they're probably going to have to up 1080p minimum, I'm thinking. And maybe that's why they haven't come out with it yet, because it's not ready. But I think that's going to be interesting. I want to know how you think they're going to implement that, and also data caps, man, because we just saw the announcement that Comcast out here tripping.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see it. What is Comcast doing? Because I have it built into my modem, so I don't have to worry about data caps.
Comcast is increasing the states that they are going to have data caps in.
Oh, okay.
Instead of going back, instead of getting rid of data caps, they're adding them. This is the whole long-term plan from the very start, when they put that stooge in charge of the FCC. Yes, he's a stooge, because before he had this job, he was a Verizon, a lobbyist for Verizon. So he's basically just there he's supposed to be protecting us from ISPs and tech companies that are trying to take advantage of the market, but instead he just works for them secretly, really. And he got rid of net neutrality, and this was always the long game. I think they see the light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to this guy's usefulness in his position, because I don't think he's gonna be there for much longer with this new administration. And they're trying to implement as many of these things as possible, because it's going to be harder to get rid of them if they're already put into play. So they're doing away with data caps. This is important because is for cloud gaming to really take off. that the number of data that you're using streaming these assets now, or what Orion's supposed to do is to compress the data in a way that makes it so it's not crushing your data cap, but still giving you that kind of performance. Still in beta, so we don't know. No one's used it yet to see if it really does that or not. But
right.
I it's difficult to see this really taking off anytime soon. I think it's something that, and I said this to you as I traded in my Xbox, Switch, and PlayStation. I thought I would have a PlayStation 5 by now. My GPU on my PC is getting RMA'd. I had to get another GPU as a replacement just so I can still game on my PC. There was a real chance that I was going to would go from 4 different platforms to play on to 0, and I would have had to basically all I would be able to have to play is like xCloud off my phone. And I said I can't that cannot be my primary way to play games. I tried xCloud on my phone. It was okay, but honestly, the screen's just too small for me. And the phone with the clip and with the controller it gets heavy over time, and I'm always like flexing my fingers because it's heavy. Nah, man, I can't game like that. I would try it on my TV, sure, if the performance, the latency is bad and the performance ain't great, and it look like a Picasso painting on my TV, I'm not gonna play it. So I don't know. What do you think here, man?
Man, it's, to me, is much of nothing. Slow-mo. You think it's actually something?
What do you mean much of nothing? I mean, like, I'm not saying it's going to take off or anything, or they think it's going to take off. This is a feature.
What do you think is going to happen?
I think they're going to roll it out to TVs. They're going to roll it out in America. Who were they partnered with? Samsung here?
Samsung.
And then on the Eastern Hemisphere, they're partnered with LG.
No, I'm just I know what you mean. No,
they announced that they got a partnership with LG.
No, it actually is going to be. I think it is going to do something. I think, especially in Western Hemisphere, over in the Eastern Hemisphere. So the further you get towards Europe and over next to Asia in that area, they already get pretty much dominated by handheld gameplay anyway. So a lot of those people don't even play on TVs as it is. But if it is like something that is an app that you could just download to your TV, or an app you could just download on your phone, I know that's something that they were trying to do on Apple, but Apple doesn't, they have to find a workaround, which they're going to do through the browser on iOS. So I just think that sooner or later, Xbox is only as of right now, Xbox is a platform. It's not really the system anymore, even though the system is the face of the platform because it's Xbox. But Xbox, in my eyes going forward, is pretty much just a platform you play on. That's why I don't find it a huge situation when it comes to where you play your games at and everything, and having to have an Xbox to play. Like I told you, and I was very transparent about that. The only reason I own an Xbox Series X is just to play with Luca, Taz, and them when we play Destiny over there. And then I'll play a lot of some of the games that's available over there in Game Pass that I can't get on PC that may be exclusive to that. But overall, they give you everything you want in every ecosystem you play in. xCloud is a part of Game Pass Ultimate now. EA Play is a part of Game Pass Ultimate now. You can play games on PC. You can stream and do all. You can still play on your Xbox, and you got access to Xbox Live. So what's the next step? I think you'll probably see before you see I think the moment you see the app is the moment you'll see the standalone stream stick too. Because I think they're going to. Yeah,
I definitely think that's going to happen.
It's going to come first. Because I think they're going to want to have a way. Actually, no, I think they might come together. Because I think when they launch an app, they're going to want to have a way to be able to have you integrate with the Xbox service, even if you don't have a TV that has capability to have the app. Let's say Android is on, Android is, you can get xCloud on Android, which is kind of crazy. But let's say you have Apple TV and
he mentioned that in the interview. He said that what they're doing, and I think this was already had came up before, but what they're going to do is they're going to allow you to do xCloud / Game Pass through the Safari browser.
Right. Yeah. So through the Safari. So that's the biggest thing. So I think for them, they're looking at it like, let's do what Amazon does with the Fire Stick. Let's get us a little HDMI 2.0 or 2.1 stick that plugs into your TV that gives you access to our app that you don't even have to download it. It's natively on the system. And that through internet, through the power of the speed of your internet, will give you the ability to play all of these games remotely and on whatever TV you want. That I think would be the more ideal situation. But then with their partnership with Samsung, and it could probably extend to things like LG, because I could definitely see Microsoft getting into bed with LG next, due to the fact that these next gen systems are selling more OLEDs than any freaking thing at this point. Or at least in our little ecosystem, that seems to be what people are buying the most. But I can see LG being the next ones to task. I see Sony not really acquiescing to putting an app on theirs, especially when it comes to Xbox themselves. I mean, they even took the PlayStation Now app off of their TVs. They don't even have that there anymore. So I think they just pretty much given up on an idea. I don't know if they're going to re-release it in a more stable, functional state. But if Xbox wants to get into that type of ecosystem, it's probably only going to be through a standalone stick that they could plug up into the TV. So this is definitely going to be a game changer for Xbox. It just really, truly takes all. It really comes down to what is Xbox going to have available to make you want to pick this up. People didn't just go get Disney Plus just because Disney Plus was something new. They went and got it because Mandalorian was on there, and everybody wanted to see Mandalorian, and that was, and it was like some of the best Star Wars story we got since the sequel prequels came out, because that's some terrible stuff right there. But I think that's what Xbox really needs to worry about is don't worry about what's going to happen with the game, not the games, but the app or anything itself. Worry about the games you're going to put on the app, because as soon as you release the app, everybody's going to want to jump in.
I feel you. All right, when it comes to what are they going to have to draw people in, it's I mean, what do we know they're coming out with next year? Halo Infinite. I
mean, I don't think it's coming out next year.
So. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's going to get delayed again. Tentatively, Halo Infinite. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, well, you
maybe Forza. Forza.
You got to think by the time that we get to the announcement of something like that, they'll probably have showed off a lot of the games that's coming out. For at least 5 or 6 games that's coming from their studios outside of the ones we know. By that time, I think.
But those are even further out than the games they've already shown.
Well, I'm thinking like the initiative. By that time, we'll probably know what the initiative has been working on, and that
game ain't gonna come out next year. See, what I'm talking about is that
there's a difference.
What I'm talking about, okay, Disney says Psychonauts 2, so that'll be in Game Pass.
Psychonauts 2, yeah, if you care about that game.
What I'm saying is that you're gonna roll this out to essentially not a completely different demographic, but now you're going to be have a certain reach where if someone can just buy a Samsung or LG TV and they have access to Xbox, they can just get a controller with it. And I don't know, maybe they're packaging Xbox Series controllers with their partners, Samsung or LG. I don't know, so that you don't even have to go buy a controller. It came with one. I mean, you already spent over $1,000. Why not throw a controller in there, right? And then when it comes to the preloaded apps that are in your TV, you can just play Game Pass. Or you have a free trial for it for a little bit. But then if people come in and there's like, well, what is there to play? I mean, how long is EA Play going to be in there? You know, what else is going to other third parties are you going to convince to put their stuff in? I'm pretty sure they're going to get other third parties. And he actually mentioned that in the interview as well, talking about how originally they were trying to do kind of I can't remember which format he said they were using, but they were basically paying people by how long people were playing the games. But that's a little bit too much risk for these studios. They wanted their money up front, and so they kind of started switching to doing that, getting money up front, and even in some cases choosing to reimburse a studio their entire development cost for making the game. I was like, that's the part where I was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
that's gotta be like them smaller games. Like the smaller indie games where the development cost was only like maybe 2 or 3 million.
Right.
Not like a big AAA game where the development cost is upwards of $50 million just to be in Game Pass for like 2 or 3 months. I don't think they went that far with it, but he said they're kind of looking at like a hybrid method. Regardless, I've gone on a sidetrack here. That's going to be able to get you games in there. But if you're going to roll this out next year, I don't think, if this was 2022, I'm thinking, man, you guys might have something. Because in 2022, you're going to have games like Fable. You're going to have Avowed. You're going to have potentially Starfield. You're going to have some serious, I'm not going to say bangers because we don't know the level, how good they're going to be. I think Fable probably is going to be really awesome. But I think Avowed is going to be amazing. Don't know quite much. Can't really say the same for Starfield, but it's interesting. But if you get those kind of games coming out in 2022, you could really get people invested, with playing the game in that method if it works. Mm-hmm. One, and two, if you have got the compelling content. But I just think right now, like they have ideas and services and platforms they want to push, but their Achilles heel, the root of everything, the foundation of your platform has to be games. And when your foundation is weak and brittle, I mean, it's just going to fall over.
That's true.
So, but I think we've exhausted all the topics. We're at
we did
2 hours and 4 minutes. I know. We said we want to do a quick Q&A real quick. We can do that for 5 minutes before I know Forte guys skedaddle and get on to he's going to be hanging out with Nukem on Gaming After Dark right after this, because Forte can't help but to do like 5 to 6.
I forgot that we moved the show to today. That's
I'm saying is that
I'm a man of my word though. Well, I'm gonna have to give him. I'm gonna give him a whole episode next week. So I'm gonna go over there next week too.
All right.
Can't just show up halfway through and
But if you guys got any questions you guys wanted to get through, I know Kylie Rex had the question about what we just talked about, which was the whole ISPs and all that stuff and using cloud streaming.
Artemis said, what's the name of your PC? He said it should be called Millennium Falcon, but what is the real name of it?
I don't have a name for my PC. His name of my PC. It's the beast that eats the beast that eats the beast for breakfast. How about that? That's how good my PC.
Razor X Gundam asks us the question. He says, were you telling the truth about eating gum and Skittles, or were you really just eating a old Popeye's chicken wing?
A day old Popeye's chicken wing.
Yeah, old.
I think it was a day old.
No, it was actually Skittles.
It was a biscuit. It was a biscuit.
It was actually Skittles, sir. And I see this is what you got to do when people want to ask you questions. You come to the source material and you just click on your camera, and there's the bag of Skittles right there.
Okay, let's pan over to the right where there's the box of Popeyes.
Oh, wait, hold on. There's this too. I was eating that too. And I may have had...
I can't see. It's like upside down.
There you go. Nature Valley. And then on top of that, I ate a bag of these.
Why are you doing all this? This is what I'm talking about. All this eating during the show. A bag of you about to just keep going down the line. Oh, I also had a bag of Lay's potato chips, and then
I ain't had that much.
How far along is this gonna go?
No, that was all I had.
All right. What's up, Luca? What's going on? Any other questions, you guys? You guys don't have any more? We're gonna go ahead and get to the outros, but I'll give y'all a second. Luca, I hope we got one from Dizzy here. He said, "Did y'all see the Medium trailer? More unseen people in the game." No, I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen it yet either. I saw that they. Did you see that Martha is Dead is actually coming to PlayStation? They put a trailer out on PlayStation's website. I mean,
wait, what is
the game Martha is Dead that a lot of people were saying that was not coming to PlayStation. Yeah. If a trailer hit their hit YouTube for PlayStation either today or yesterday, I was like, oh, interesting. I guess Racer, it is coming to PlayStation.
What he eating all that at the same time? Exactly, Racer. Exactly.
No, I was not eating it all at the same time, sir.
Rucker says Forte had a meal for every Phil interview. Oh my god, I wouldn't recommend that at all. That would be a problem. We would need to, we need to rush Forte to the hospital.
Y'all want to see a cool backpack that somebody sent me though?
I guess. Yeah, Lucas says, "What's better, turkey or smoked ham?" Yo, I'm gonna say smoked ham.
Yeah, show it to y'all. This is a pretty cool backpack. I haven't
even paying attention. Look at the question, man. Look at the question.
What's the question? I ain't look yet.
It's look at it. I just repeat. What's better, turkey or smoked ham?
Smoked ham.
Yep, I agree. That's 2 for 0. Smoked
Turkey's
ham.
good, but smoked ham is better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, Racer. Turkey is mad overrated. Smoked ham is where it's
at. Especially if most people don't know how to cook a turkey. It's dry as hell.
Yeah. The Sly Crow says you guys saw the news about Amazon UK PS5 orders. Yes, I did. It looks worse over there than it is over here by far. It seems like there is a scalping ring that has up to 3,500 PlayStation 5s that they're sitting on. Scalping.
Yeah, they out here, bro.
In UK, the most number of fraudulent deliveries where the delivery courier services are taking the PlayStation 5s out and putting other things that equal the same weight in. It's just bad, man. It's like it's even harder out there right now to get these consoles than it is over here in the US. I feel for them because I know I've been dealing with it myself, this whole entire time. So yeah, it's unfortunate, and they gotta do better, man. They got these retailers have to put the investment in and to actually do, get these products into the right hands and people, and just doing the bare minimum, which is just throwing it up on your website at a time, and doing what Walmart does, which is dumb. Yeah, we're going to release it at 12, 3, 6, and why are you doing the time? Telling people when you're going to do it. You're going to tell people when you're going to do it. You better be bot proof. But of course, Walmart don't care.
No, man, they said we're going to get our money anyway.
Artemis says, "Does anyone got an invite to Luna?" I did get an invite to Luna, and I decided not to do it.
Did you actually apply for that invite?
No.
Oh, they just sent it to you?
They just sent it to me. I think it's because I'm an Amazon Prime person, and also I did apply to play the New World beta, alpha, whatever you want to call it.
Which is on Luna?
It's going to be on Luna, but it's Amazon. It's still in beta.
Why didn't you accept it, sir?
I just didn't want to deal with my experience. I know it's wrong. I think I might still have the opportunity to accept it. Maybe I got to check my email. That's
because you're a content creator. You can let us all know how bad it is.
No, look, maybe I will. I just remembered my experience with Stadia back when it was Project
fried
Cloud?
Turkey.
What was it? What was it called before it was Stadia? Project Stream? I don't remember what it was, but it was bad for me. It was really bad. They had Assassin's Creed Odyssey to play, and Yeah, it was a slideshow, literally a slideshow for me. It was pretty bad, and
I agree.
yeah, I just didn't feel like dealing with that again. But maybe I'll go dig into my email, see if it's still if the invitation is still active, and give it a shot. Who knows?
Yeah.
Lucas says best Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah, fried turkey, man. Fried turkey is really freaking good.
You know what? I'm really partial to mac and cheese.
Oh, who isn't? My wife makes the best mac and cheese, bro.
You know what? Something is about the burnt cheese on the top.
Yes,
it really just
It is so in the gooey deliciousness that's underneath it.
Pause, but there's a pause there.
It ain't no pause for that. The cheese, if the cheese is delicious underneath the underneath the burnt crust, is amazing.
Yeah, that's my favorite. My favorite.
Does your family do? Because my family, they all bring different plates. My wife is the macaroni queen, so she makes the macaroni. Her aunt makes the stuffing. Her dad does the turkey and stuff, and of course we all cook our own stuff for our own house too. But it's like when we go to someone's house, everybody brings that one specialty thing that they're really good at.
That's what we do. That's what we do. Like when I grew up, my entire family would always go to my grandfather's house in North Carolina, and it was like one of my favorite time. Like I think Thanksgiving might be my favorite holiday, and it's just getting together with family, having fun. You know, relatives you haven't seen, cousins you haven't seen in a long time. And although I haven't really got haven't done too much of that with my family in the past few years, my family I grew up with, but like I've been doing a lot of Thanksgiving with my wife's family, and I'm just getting to really get to know them as family a lot. This week's going to be rough. Because with the pandemic, nobody's doing anything, and it's just basically just regular old dinner. And it's always Thanksgiving has always been a joyous occasion and some laughs with that one relative that just can't stay sober, and just just stuff like that. That's just just fun. And this one's really gonna suck, unfortunately. But
I agree.
But let's go ahead and get on out of here. Don't want to hold Forte up any further. We appreciate all you guys that have been rocking out with us. You guys are awesome, and can't wait to see you guys again next week. Forte, tell everyone what you got planned outside of just running over to news channel right after this.
Oh yeah. Well, I got a couple of videos that's being for tomorrow. Going to be talking about the Destiny experience with the day one raid and how contest mode and just over how playing the game in a difficult state is something that I miss in video games, and I want to see more games really challenges like that. I know there's games out here that do it, but not enough of them do it. They make it kind of easy for you to progress through them. So I got a video coming out about that, and then I got a video tomorrow where I'm gonna be talking about the Phil Spencer stuff. Pretty much what we talked about here, but probably a little bit more deeper thought in some of the things that I think is going on behind the scenes when it comes to Xbox and the whole relationship with that and PlayStation. So that's coming out tomorrow. Outside of that, it's Gaming Forte everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation Network. You can make DPS podcast next week on Thursday, because we're going back to Thursday. We're just doing it Tuesday, just so we can spend time with the family this holiday, even though we're going to be still pretty much sitting at home. You never know what the wives or the kids are going to want to do. They might want to sit down and watch 50 movies, and you're kind of going to be stuck there saying, well, we ain't going nowhere, so might as well watch this. So, leave that to the family and stuff like that. But outside of that, just work, man. Tomorrow's a long work day for me. Getting ready for Black Friday, and then getting all the final touches on everything that's going to be going on in the store, going over the roadmap for that, and just get ready for Black Friday. So the biggest thing I'll tell you guys is just be safe in everything that you guys are doing when it comes to trying to acquire these consoles. If you don't already have one, if you do, just, pray for the people out there that's trying to still get one, because, it's everybody needs help right now. And I definitely want to see as many people be happy this holiday as they possibly can. But outside of that, you guys have a great week, and I will see you guys in my next video, and I'll see you next week on the channel for episode 13 of the DPS podcast.
Awesome. And yeah, I got a couple of videos in the pipeline coming out very soon. One's going to be about Final Fantasy VII Remake and why it should be, and at least in my opinion, game of the year.
Put across through it.
And a couple of other things that I'm working on. But yeah, you guys, I just want to reiterate what Forte said. Be safe out there. You know, we wish we could be with our family for the holiday, but it's better to be safe and be safe than sorry, you know.
Right.
And the pandemic's real. It's ramping up. It's getting worse, and the infection rates are through the roof in all states. My state went back to lockdown for the phase 1 of a lockdown. So guys, be safe out there. We hope to see you next week, and take care. Peace.
Take care. Adios, gents.